Hello, and welcome to the Tom Marie Show, where we keep it real on the mic, making inspiring choices. Our guest today is motivational speaker, entrepreneur, and award-winning journalist Danielle Wilborn. Hey, Danielle.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited. I'm loving this show you have. This is great.
Thank you so much. Our show is revolving around making inspiring choices. So tell us who Danielle is.
That's a loaded question. Wow. Okay. Who am I? I am, I guess, a journalist, an entrepreneur, a motivational speaker. And I feel like that sums up my life. And if I had to put me in subcategories, those would be the three subcategories that I would put myself in. Journalist started as a passion, watching news as a kid, probably the only kid that I knew watching news and wanting to get home at 5 p.m. to watch the news. So that's where the journalism passion came. And the entrepreneur spirit came over time, looking at all the opportunities that I feel like I could do to help other people. And that started my business, the transition, a marketing agency. And the motivational speaking is my faith with Just Faith It, the brand that God gave me to put the phrase Just Faith It on t-shirts and put that phrase on whatever I can get it on hoodies and baseball caps. So just let everyone know that no matter what you're going through, if you just faith it, that you can make it. So that sums me up: journalist, entrepreneur, and motivational speaker.
All I can say is, wow, very, very inspiring. And you wear many hats. How do you balance it all?
Right. It's so much. It's so much. If you ask my circle, they would say I should probably put a job away. And I always joke to say I don't just have one job. I have 5 jobs. Balancing it all. We're still working on it, but I feel like this year I'm better. It really comes with planning. I'm using Siri a lot to plan my day, and you have to have structure. And you have to realize that you can't put yourself on a back burner. Yes, I'm a journalist, but I can't put my business on a back burner. And yes, Just Faith It was a vision given to me by God, but I can't put that on the back burner. So it's really devoting time to all of your passions equally, just so you're not, neglecting one for the other.
You are exactly right. Exactly right. I'm still trying to learn how to balance everything, as a wife, as a mom, as a talk show host now. A T-ball mom just got added. So
Oh, wow.
my days, weeks, everything goes by so fast. And it's very important that you stay focused and that you keep a schedule. My favorite thing, like I told another one of my guests, sticky notes. I have sticky notes everywhere. A reminder of
That's me.
just
In the
not
office, a note right here. That's
exactly. And I think that's something that women do. It's easier to write something down because you can remember it. I'm a visionary. I have to see it to remember it, to think it,
Mhm.
to make it happen. That's just who I am. So let's take a step back, Danielle. So I don't know if you remember, but I originally first met you at the University of Memphis, the radio
Yes,
station,
go Tigers.
UMR, U92 FM.
Right. Those were the days.
Those were the days. I think I was a little bit nervous. I was still trying to figure out exactly what route I wanted to go, whether it was radio, TV. Um, I was kind of confused, and then I wanted to
Mhm.
completely back away from media. Um, Being at the University of Memphis, what avenue or what drove you to kind of get your direction towards journalism?
That okay, so as you mentioned, we were both at WUMR, the jazz radio station there on campus. And that was me just trying to dibble and dabble in everything journalism, right? That was just me trying to put my foot in the door to see if I like this or do I want to go a different way? I feel like I fell in love with the passion of producing, which is what I am now. As I was in Joe Hayden's class, I don't know if you took him, but I was in his class and he focused on writing. And that's my passion. My passion has always been writing. And when I found out that producers had more control of the show than actual reporters or the anchors, I was like, sign me up for producing. I'm behind the scenes. I don't have to be out in front of the people. I don't need my face on camera. That's great. You don't have to see me, but I'm behind the scenes. I'm controlling what the viewer sees. I feel like that's more impactful. That's the way I thought then. It's more impactful for me to be able to write what you're saying rather than just being the face who's talking to you. So I would say that writing really formed my passion towards what I'm doing now.
That is, it's crazy because I, on the other hand, I hated writing. Now that I have a talk show, I'm starting to find my passion in it. Anything that I can think of or comes to mind, an idea, a topic, motivational words, something inspiring, I always write it down. Right. And it's turning into like something that's becoming normal, if I can say that. Which is crazy. And just like you, I was the same way at University of Memphis. I was like, well, let me try this to see if I like it. And it was fun. The viewers really kept me entertained.
Right, all the calls, wasn't it exciting?
And I was on from 3 to 7 on Fridays. So my callers would call in. The first thing they would ask is, what's the best barbecue place to eat at? And I'm like,
so random.
Right. Are you from Memphis? So after maybe 2 weeks, I just wrote down a list of different places so that I could immediately respond to them. It was so interesting because it being a jazz station opened the door for me because I had never really listened to jazz. Are you a jazz fan?
That was the same for me. I had never listened to jazz that much. The jazz that I heard was from Kirk Whalum. Whatever he had out, then I listened to that. But I wasn't, Kirk or Kenneth, one of the Whalum brothers. I never really listened to jazz until that station. So working with WUMR and Malvin there, it really like created a passion for jazz for me. Because once you're around it and you're playing it all day, and like you would get in the list of restaurants, people would call into our show with me and Josh as the host. They would call into our show to ask, so what's the top jazz album? So I would go to Billboard 100 top jazz albums and look at it and see if we had that album in the studio and try to play it. It was just a lot of learning for me, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed learning about a new genre that I never really explored.
Exactly. I totally agree. It always kept me on my toes because I never knew what the day would hold or what the viewers would ask when they called in. So I always had to stay prepared at all times. So let's go back to journalism. So who is your favorite journalist and why?
Oh, wow. Favorite journalist. I would say the woman who really kind of shifted me towards journalism is Dee Griffin. I don't know if you remember her, but she was a Memphis anchor when we were at University of Memphis. And I would go home and watch that woman every single day. Never met her, but it was just something about her. She had this charisma about her where she delivered the news, and I really felt like she was talking to me, like she was in my house talking to me, having a good conversation like we are having now. So I would say favorite journalist, Dee Griffin. Woman doesn't even know I exist, but I love her. And I think she's in Georgia now, but if I had to go past that, if you want me to go national, of course I would have to say Oprah because I love just a passion that and Oprah's journey. So those would be my top two journalists.
I am with Oprah. I do remember being in Memphis, but I'm like you. Oprah is my all-time favorite. I actually did one of my projects at the University of Memphis on Oprah, and it was just interesting to know where she started, all the neglect, the bad.
It's so inspirational.
The things she just had to go through just to get to where she is today. And I totally salute her because she is journalist on 1,000, if I could say that. It's crazy because not only, okay, she started out as a journalist, but she has O Magazine. She does interviews,
Mm-hmm.
a book club. I mean, the list just goes on. And it's amazing how you can start off doing one thing and it can birth multiple babies, as you could say.
Exactly. Right.
And it's just simply amazing. So, if you could give some advice to someone who wants to pursue journalism, what would you tell them?
I would tell them, number one, starting out, make sure that you're not just pursuing it just because you're going with the wind. You're not just doing it because someone said, oh, you should get into journalism. I feel like journalism, it has to be a passion because there's so many ups and downs. You're going to have your high moments, you're going to have your low moments, but your passion will keep you pushing through no matter which level or which season you're in on your journalism career. Along with making sure journalism is your passion, just honing your craft of writing and researching, because that's mainly what journalism is. You're writing a lot, you're researching a lot, you're trying to find like the best stories, staying on top of all of the stories. That would be my top, like, if you say, what do I need to do now to be a journalist? One, have a passion. Two, start your research and make sure that when you do your research that you are looking at multiple sources. Don't look at the same story for the same source, but go back and research that story with multiple sources, just so you can see how other journalists write. And one thing that I did with Dee, and even as you said with Oprah, looking at her journey, is really researching or having someone that you admire and understanding how they work. Because once you get how they work and you study their journey, you're like, okay, I know that I have to go down the path. It's not just going to be an overnight thing for me.
Exactly. And, a lot of people don't understand, especially people our age and younger, they'll just say, I just want to be in media. I want to be in front of the camera.
Yes.
They don't really understand the hard work, the sweat, the blood, the tears that it takes to actually get there.
For sure.
As I was telling someone, this talk show has been in works for a while. I was just afraid to put it out there. And my number one fan, God, one day said, Mondays, what are you waiting on? Get it done. Yes, sir. It's getting done. I've been holding it, keeping it, training it, making sure it's right for far too long. And I'm like, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
This is who I am. This is the authentic me. People are either going to like it or love it. It doesn't matter. And I'm just going to go forth with it. So you are totally correct about that. You pretty much touched on the process of becoming a journalist. Would you want to share anything else as far as the job process?
I'll share the job process, but let me go back to something that you just said because it hit me. If you're waiting for the right moment, stop doing that. It's never going to be the right moment. In order for you to do something, you have to do it. In order for something to come into fruition, you have to work the vision, work the dream, work the passion. So I would like to 100% agree with you. Stop waiting, just do it. It's not going to be the right time. You're never going to have enough money. You're never going to have the right situation. You're not going to be in the right city. It's never going to be 100% right. Just go out there, just do it. But the job process, are you saying applying for jobs or just a job in general?
Just the job in general. Because most people start out as an intern, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So just the process of even getting to that point.
The process for me was when I was at the University of Memphis, I had two internships, one at Channel 5 in Memphis and another at Fox 13 in Memphis. And I really took a different approach with both internships. At 5, I was the digital media intern. And then at 13, I was more of the general intern. I worked with reporters, I worked with producers, I worked with photographers. And again, that goes back to me just wanting to know how to do every position. And that also creates some job security because when you know how to do everything, then they're not going to fire you first. So learn as much as you can while you can. Don't be that one person that says, I want to be on TV. That's it. That's all I'm learning. Learn how to produce, learn how to write a script, learn how to edit a video. Like, make yourself valuable, add value to yourself. When you learn more, you're adding value to yourself. So add value to yourself. If you have an internship, make sure you're getting the best out of that internship. Don't just go to get the hours for your college requirement. Go and learn all that you can while you're there. And make connections. I use my internship and make connections. So that's how I was able to, I guess, grow in this career. I still talk to some of the anchors there in Memphis now. Make those connections.
Make the connections. Connections. People always wonder, how do they do this? How do they get to where they are? It's a conversation. Hold a conversation. If you're shy, start off with something that has nothing to do with the event y'all are at. Just start a conversation. I truly believe that I've always told myself since college, at the right place, at the right time, with the right people, anything can happen. Anything. And so that's so inspiring, just to know that just don't give up. Get as much information, learn. And that's the main thing that I try to tell people that are younger to me that ask me questions like, what is the best advice? Learn as much as you can. You can never learn too much. Always to learn. Right. So like, as a journalist, what do you know now that you wished you would have knew earlier?
One, Oprah's quote of "there is no such thing as luck, but luck is being prepared when the moment of opportunity comes" rings true. It was when everyone in college told me, you're not going to make this much money going out, so why are you doing that? I realized that, but what I wish I would have just understood was it was going to be a process. Like, you can make the amount of money you want to make in the business, is going to be a process. You have to trust the process. You can't just go straight to the top. You can't just go to market one. It's going to be a process. And I believe this. We started in Jackson, Tennessee. It was a process. That was market, 197 or something like that. It's a process. It's not just hopping out there and thinking you're going to be on top instantly. It's not just hopping out there and thinking you're going to own Oprah Winfrey Network instantly. It's a process. You have to go through something to get there. So I feel like that's the one thing I would say is it's a process. You have to trust the process.
What an inspiring nugget on making inspiring choices on the Tom Maurice Show. Trust the process. It's that simple. I learned in graduate school that when you try to take the longer route or try to make things more difficult than what they really are, you're making it harder on yourself. Trust the process. When you trust the process, you follow your passion, you put God first, everything else will line up. As simple as that.
It will fall into line.
Fall straight into line. Now that we're talking about it, Miss Entrepreneur, Just Faith It, The Transition, Digital Evolving, and Vision Studios. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about all of it, right?
Yes.
Which one we started first? Let's start with the transition. As you see, product placement, right? The transition, Digital Evolving, is marketing agency, and really this came from a passion of both things, to motivate someone and then also to help you build your brand. And I've noticed that a lot of businesses, especially minority-owned businesses, they don't focus their energy on marketing. They don't focus their money on marketing. The main goal for those minority businesses are, let me open the door, let me get people in. But they don't have a plan on how to get people in. So the transition was really created with my co-founder, Cardell Davis, to motivate people to focus your energy on marketing. Marketing is still important. How are you getting people in? How are you being personable to your audience? Who do you want to buy your product and why do you want them to buy it? And that comes with motivating others to see the value in your brand. And that's what the transition does. It helps you see the value in your brand and it brings out that value so that other people would want to invest in your brand. And from the transition, so many other things evolved. We have the podcast with the transition of Evolving You, Embracing Your Next Realm. And that's encouraging people to go to their next realm and pushing you towards your purpose. And then from the transition, as I said earlier, God blessed me with a vision of Just Faith It. And Just Faith It is a long story, but I give you the short version. I
Okay.
was on my way from Memphis, traveling to Chattanooga, and I was just, it had so much on my mind. Like, God, what am I doing? What's happening? I'm not making the amount of money I want to make. What is going on? You told me to start this business. We're not really going in the direction I want us to go. I was at a moment where I was not trusting the process. I wanted to do it Danielle's way. And God just spoke to me clearly, so plain, and said, just faith it. I've gotten you this far. I'm not going to leave you right here. I just need you to just faith it. And from Just Faith It, it was, now that I've told you Just Faith It, I need you to share this message with the world. So I put it on shirts and I started selling those shirts. I was like, wow, Jesus, people are really buying this. Whoa. So now that became a business when I wasn't even trying to make it a business. I was just trying to motivate people and really being obedient to what God says. But here it is. When you're obedient to what God says, he's going to bless your obedience. And the third thing, Vision Studios started with my best friend. We have so many businesses under that one brand. She has iNews Crew, which helps up and coming journalists. It's it gives journalists their, like, if you need any advice, if you need help on how to pitch a story, that's what iNews Crew is, like a forum for those new journalists in those lower markets, and they just need some help on what do I do? I'm here now. What do I do? And then she also has a boutique under that brand. Again, Vision Studios is its own like entity. And I'm just grateful that I'm a part of that. I'm grateful that I have a circle of friends who want to be entrepreneurs, a circle of friends who want to be business owners and just break barriers. I'm loving it.
Wow. That's all I can say. Wow. I love the Just Faith It. I remember when you had posted on your social about it, and I was just like, oh my, that is amazing. Just Faith It. A lot of people tend to look at t-shirts, hats.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, people are walking billboards. So if people see it, they'll say, I like that. Or
Right.
that's interesting. That's how I was. When you posted that, I was like, just faith it. Just faith it. Like,
Just faith it.
That's it. It's simple, and it's on that level of Nike. Just do it. Just
Right.
faith it.
Just faith it.
I love everything about it, and I will put in my order for my shirt because I need that. I need that. Just faith it.
For all of your listeners, special promo code. If you want to get a Just Faith It shirt, go to my website, daniellewhipman.com, and enter promo code New Season, and you'll get 10% off.
Y'all hear that? New season promo code. All right now. So on your website, you had some inspiration text at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Something that stuck out to me was, because exposure to success eliminates excuses.
Mm-hmm.
When I say I was shouting, I was just like, oh my goodness, this hits me in so many ways, on so many levels. Where did you get those inspiring words from?
Again, I can't take credit for it. All glory goes to God. Sometimes I'm minding my own business. That's what I like to do. That's what I tell people. I'm minding my own business. And then Jesus interrupts it and just says, listen, I need you to write this. He drops so many nuggets, and I love that. And that particular quote of the exposure eliminates excuses, it was basically when you've been exposed to the greatness of God, when you've been exposed to the glory and all that he can do, why would you create an excuse? Because you already know that he can give you greater. So why would I create an excuse to stay on the same level when he's already shown me that there's greater in store for me? So I think that that's just one of those moments where I was creating excuses for myself. And then God reminded me, I need you to stop tripping. A lot of the quotes that are on my website comes from when I'm tripping, and then God gets me together.
Okay. Y'all need to go to her website, daniellewilburn.com.
Yes, daniellewilburn.com.
Inspiring. Every page, inspiring. Amazing. So Danielle, you wear many hats. You have a lot going on from Just Faith It, the transition. You're a motivational speaker.
Mhm.
What's next for you?
Right now, I am trying to be obedient and finish this book. I'm trying to be obedient, but that's next. Ultimately, we're going to get a book out there, and I'm believing in God that once the book is out there, God's going to bless it. It's going to be a New York Times bestseller. I'm just speaking some things that be not as though they were. You heard it here first on the Time Marie Show. Next step is the book, but also I want to continue to build my brand, continue to build the transition, continue to build Just Faith It, continue to build Vision Studios, and just take everything, the motivational speaking to the next level. I'm just trying to go to the next realm in every aspect of my life.
I totally agree with you. The same. Just trying to go to the next realm, help someone else, inspire someone else, especially in the areas where I was slacking and I needed that person to help push me. I want to push young girls who look like us, who are trying to give
For
up,
sure.
especially during this pandemic. Now is the time. I feel like
Mhm.
God allowed the pandemic to happen to give us opportunity, the time that we say we never have, to get whatever we have that we want to produce or we want to give birth to. Let it happen.
Right.
Make it happen. So, Danielle, this conversation was so inspiring. You dropped so many nuggets. You have so much going on. So, lastly, just tell the listeners, where can they find you? What are your handles? How can they keep in touch with you?
The main way, everything is in one place. You can go to daniellewilburn.com. I'm on Instagram at djwilburn, but you can also find a link to that on my website, daniellewilburn.com. Again, go there, find buy your shirt under the entrepreneur tab, and again, 10% off with the promo code new season, because we're in the new season. We're in the new season of greatness.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Well, Danielle, thank you so much for letting me interview you. Again, you have
Thank you so
inspired
much.
somebody in the audience that is watching. I hope that what we talked about motivates, inspires, and pushes everyone to the next level, especially young girls who look like us who are trying to give up. And that's
Mhm.
basically the main thing right now, is to inspire someone to be greater and to be the
Absolutely.
best that they can. Again, thank
Absolutely.
you, Danielle, for being on the Time Marie Show.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
You're welcome. Hey guys, I hope you enjoy Danielle Wilburn. Again, inspiring. If you want to keep in touch with her, purchase her merchandise, go to daniellewilburn.com. Just Faith It. That is her brand, Just Faith It. Thank you for tuning in.